Hi YouTube, first off, let me check the volume's loud enough. Sorry. Sorry, I've been so MIA. My husband got back from the States. Really happy to see him back, and we've just been a bit loved up and busy with each other and busy as a family. We went to the zoo recently, which was lots of fun. What I want to talk about today, a bit of a Luca update and a bilingual update. And the reason I want to do it is because I've had one or two comments on some of my bilingualism, well, one of them. I've only done 2 videos on it. And they've got me really thinking about bilingualism, how to raise your child bilingually. And which is a good thing actually, because it made me think, made me do a tiny bit of research, and then now, as I said, my husband was away, and my husband is the German speaker in the family, and I am obviously the English native speaker. Was away for a month, which gave Luca and I a very intensive, he's 15 months by the way, well, almost 15 months old, gave us a very intensive English speaking month, and it was an interesting experience for me because even for me, I noticed how my German and even my grown-up English suffered during that month. Yeah, also Luca had a very, I suppose, intensive English experience during that month with me, because why should I speak to my son in German when there's no one who speaks German around us? So yeah, he really, almost all of his input that month was English. And my feeling at present, and this is based on my feeling and on some observations as well, is that Luca is at the moment more or less monolingual. More or less. Now obviously he hears German a lot around him from his father and me speaking German to his father. But I do definitely feel at the moment he responds more to English. He's going to do that anyway, because I'm his mum and I speak to him more or less only in English. So that's his, at the moment, is his dominant language, certainly. He is mimicking more behaviour. In fact, his social skills, if you talk about babies having social skills, but well, toddlers, I really do feel that his social skills are beginning to grow. He waves and says baba, and I can see he's trying to say bye-bye. In fact, he stopped doing this kind of, oh sorry, he was doing this. In fact, he was doing this to wave before, which was so sweet. I loved it actually. It looked like he was milking a cow though. But now he's moved from this to that and says baba, and he thinks it's hilarious. He loves doing it. I think it's lovely. So I realised about 2 weeks ago he could say bye-bye. He blows kisses and he hugs his toy. Sorry, I'm looking down at my notes, because otherwise this would be absolute chaos. Well, more chaos than it actually is. And I'm pretty sure he's trying to say juice, because he says s, and thanks Alanda Manda Mama for making me realise that that's what he was doing, because I think I'm a bit too strict with him actually, that he has to be really close to saying the word perfectly for me to realise he's trying to say something, or he actually can say it. I'm a bit too teacherly there. I should be a bit more accepting. He clearly understands quite a bit, and that makes sense, because even when people are learning, even when adults are learning a foreign language, you understand so passively so much more than you can actively say or write. And that's the same even with the first language acquisition, is my feeling. I'm sure that's would be backed up by theories too, if I would take the time to read them all. But being a mum, I don't. Sorry. I never said I was a guru in this. Right, he clearly understands, no, well, he's understood that for ages. I try not to say it all the time actually, because, oh yeah, coming back to his social skills, he shakes his head for no, and sometimes says nah. So he's I'm expecting the nose to start soon. He really likes shaking his head. He finds it very funny. But he's getting much better at expressing non-verbally as well what he wants or doesn't want. He also understands don't touch. Yeah, hot, dangerous. Yes, he's into getting into and onto everything that's a bit dangerous, but you know, he's exploring the world, and I try my best to make the world around him not quite as dangerous. Let's put it that way. He also understands well done, because if he does something good, I obviously want to encourage him, say well done, and good boy, etc. Because going along with the no, don't touch, that's hot, dangerous, etc. The moment he moves towards away from what I want him to move away from, and I try and give him the opportunity to do that unless it's really dangerous, not to just grab him and move him. No, when he does what I want, I give him positive encouragement. Yeah, with well done, good boy, lots of hugs. Yeah, because communication is not just verbal, it's also non-verbal. Right, let's move on. I've been reading to him at night now. That's become part of his bedtime routine. He doesn't laugh hysterically anymore at books and get really awake. He does laugh, but he can still calm down and go back to sleep after, well, not go back to sleep, go to sleep after them. So that's become part of his bedtime routine. And I'm reading The Very Hungry Caterpillar to him now, which we have an edition that's in both English and German, because I wanted a book that everyone who is part of his family or his friendship circle of friends to be able to read that book to him. And based on some comments I had recently on one of my bilingualism videos, I did a kind of an experiment, because we are going more or less for the one parent, one language route, but I questioned it a little, which is not a bad thing, because it reconfirms maybe your belief in the way you're doing things, or maybe it's always a good thing to question what you're doing, why you're doing something the way you're doing. Right, so my experiment was I read the same story myself to him in German a few times, and he was interested in it still, and I really worked hard to make the tone of my voice interesting in German as well, in a similar way as I would read in English, as much as I can. But I must say, I did notice that he was slightly less interested in the story. He did not respond the same way. In the same way that he does not respond, he responds to bye-bye, or does bye-bye in English, baba, sorry, he says baba, like this. He doesn't do it in German. He does not respond to tschüss. No reaction at the moment. He's look at you as if to say, what are you talking about? And it felt a bit similar when I read to him in German. I've been thinking recently more about what is the correct way to raise a bilingual child, and then that actually brought me on to the question, well, how do you raise a child, and does anyone really have the answer there? And then there's also the problem of empirical data from studies versus maternal instinct. My maternal instinct, my feeling is that I should speak to him in English at the moment. That's not a static thing, that's something that may well change depending on the social situation, but right now Mum speaks English. I'd be interested though in people's opinions and feelings on this. How do you feel is the best way to raise a bilingual child, or tell me about your experiences. I'd be really interested, especially on hearing from parents of bilingual children and how they've done that, or even bilingual children or people who now bilingual have grown up and how their parents did that with them. And I think it's a very interesting and controversial, very controversial topic. How to raise a child anyway, but also how to raise a bilingual child. Bye bye.